Hey soldiers, today we're going to be learning about a new sniper rifle both in the Battlefield series and in real life, the Norinco CS-LR4. I'm telling you, if it wasn't for games like this, there would be weapons out there that I would just never know about. And the CS-LR4 is certainly one of those weapons. There aren't a whole lot of people who know much about it, mostly because it's developed by Norinco. And it's very new. Having just been developed last year, I have to applaud DICE for finding and putting this rifle into the game. Because I'm telling you, not many people have heard about this rifle, and there's not a lot of information out there on it. Like I said, just developed last year by Norinco, which they're secretive by nature. So let's go ahead and pause this, and what a beauty this rifle is. I'm really glad that I got to research this because it has some pretty interesting features. I like the Picatinny rails on the top. People make fun of the way I say that. I don't know why. Here we're featured with some iron sights, which isn't what I would normally recommend with this rifle, but I saw the iron sights as an option, and I thought it'd be really interesting to kind of get a feel for the ballistics before I moved into some type of sight, to kind of see the bullet drop from a little bit further back, and to get a feel for the rifle a little bit more. And I think it worked out in my favor. Like I said, don't recommend doing this on a regular basis, but it's certainly a challenge and fun to do. Now, another thing that's really interesting about this rifle, and you're going to have to excuse the mess in the background. My kids tear this office apart. But I wanted to show you guys something. This being a Chinese rifle, you would imagine that it would use Chinese ammunition. Not the case with this rifle. It actually uses the 7.62 by 51mm NATO round. And to give people that aren't previously familiar with this round some type of comparison as to how large this is what we would use in most of our standard assault rifles. This is 5.56 by 45mm NATO round. Compare that to the 7.62. And it's an appropriate round for the rifle. And interesting because the Chinese went with a NATO round instead of their standard ammunition. And the reason I find that so interesting is that the Chinese, along with the Japanese, they do the same thing. They hype up their ammunition like it's the best thing since sliced bread. So for them to choose a NATO round over one of their own developed rounds is interesting because it's almost like them saying, you know what, we really wanted this to be a precise rifle, which is what it's marketed as, one of the most precise rifles out there. For the caliber, and they went with the NATO round instead of their own round. So what does that say? But let's make no mistake, this is one hell of an accurate rifle. They guarantee the accuracy of one MOA within 300 meters, and what that means is that your groupings at 300 meters are going to be within 1 inch of each other. It's pretty outstanding. Now, something that I thought was pretty funny is if we look at the magazine that was designed into the game, it's very similar to the magazine that is featured standard with the rifle in real life. The difference is, in real life, that's a 5-round magazine. And in game, when we watch this reload, magically it becomes a 10-round magazine. Now, I'm not going to hate on the developers for making that change. I completely understand it's for balance purposes. We are talking about a bolt-action rifle. It has to compete with some of the other rifles and have some type of balancing aspects to it, and this is certainly one way to do it. Now, the rifle also has a lot of other really great features that all lend toward its accuracy. It has a heavy floated barrel, which is expected. It's what you would want to do with any type of rifle that you want to get some sincere accuracy from, and cost is not really an issue. But the other thing that it has is what it calls a double pull trigger design. And I might need some help on that one. I haven't heard of a trigger referred to in that manner, the double pull trigger design. I've heard of the 2-stage trigger, which if that's the case, what that means is you have 2 stages with the trigger. The first stage, it pulls back real gently, and then you hit a brake. And that brake usually takes just a little bit more to get past. And you have some people that really like it, some people that prefer the single stage trigger where there is no gentle pull back, there is no wall, it's just a clean, crisp brake. But moving on, it also has that adjustable cheek riser, which is really awesome with the accuracy weapons. I've fired a few M1A EBRs that had the adjustable cheek riser, and it's great. You know, that way it can really fit to your face and customize to your shooting position. So now it's time to ask the question, with all of these real-life aspects of this weapon being taken into consideration, because we know the developers did, we see it in the design, where does the weapon fit on this battlefield? And for that, we're going to consider that I think this was designed and is going to be marketed for police and military organizations. It's one of the reasons they went with the 7.62 NATO round over a Chinese caliber, because they're marketing toward those organizations where cost is very much a factor. So they're going to go with the more standard ammunition, the ammunition that's easier to get a hold of throughout the world, and the NATO round is certainly a good way to go. So with that in mind, this isn't a type of sniper rifle that you're going to sit 2 miles back like you would maybe with the 408 JTAC if you're that good. This is an anti-personnel rifle meant for like a SWAT sniper team. So I think your best bet in game is to get to a really good position, a really good line of sight, put some really accurate fire out there. You have 11 rounds in the weapon if you have one in the chamber. So you have a lot of rounds to work with to keep enemies suppressed and behind cover, and then remain mobile. This isn't something you sit with in the back of the map. I definitely think this is more of like a mid-range, midfield weapon. In any case, I really enjoyed doing research on this weapon. I hope you really enjoyed watching the video and learning something new about an interesting rifle being developed today. But that's all I have for this video. This is Sergeant Merrill, out here.